Hi, I'm Renarta Clanton Moyd. I'm the Communications Specialist with the Cumberland County Schools and your host of Get Connected. Now, during this monthly show, we highlight numerous educational topics that face today's student, educator, and parent in the Cumberland County Schools. Now, recently, the school system announced its Teacher of the Year and Principal of the Year winners. Both were chosen because of their expertise as superb educators. And both are here to discuss with me their life's work and what they're doing to impact the lives of children each day on this edition of Get Connected.
Can you consent with me? Imagine what you'd see if every child had a book to read.
So the mission is for us to get a book to each and every child. So let's join hands, book people unite, unearth hidden passion. Come on, we'll have a good time. One book could be the first little thing that helps to change a life. Book people unite.
Read to a child today and spark a lifetime of ambition.
What you want to do is, have you already enrolled?
What did that just do?
Wait, don't panic. You're ready to make your payment. There it is.
Oh my God! I really can't believe it. That's awesome.
Good for you.
Thanks for joining us for this edition of Get Connected. We're talking with Cumberland County Schools 2015-2016 Teacher of the Year, Ashlee Garrison from New Century International Elementary School, and Cumberland County Schools 2016 Principal of the Year, Melody Chalmers from E.E. Smith High School. Ashlee, Melody, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
This
Yes.
is just a treat to have you all here with us. I'm trying to think if either of you been on the show before.
I haven't been on the show.
Me
No.
neither.
Okay.
Right.
Oh, this is going to be good. I'm messing with you. So tell me, how does it feel to have received such an esteemed honor?
Like you just said, it's an esteemed honor, and it's just such an honor to have been bestowed upon me. You know, it's something that you don't really expect is going to happen. You go for it, you win at your school, and then you go to the next level and the next level, and you give it your best, but you just don't expect it to happen. So it's just been a great surprise and an awesome experience.
When they called your name, because I remember you were standing there in front of the whole crowd of, and you were up there, I think, with 9 other teachers
Nine
of the year
others.
from our attendance area?
Yes, ma'am.
So when they called your name, what was going through your head?
I really didn't expect it at all. I just thought, this is my first time I've ever won for my school. I'm a younger teacher. This probably just isn't who they're looking for right now. And so when they called my name, literally my heart dropped. Mm-hmm. And I know my mouth opened, and it was just an amazing feeling. I felt like, wow, this is really happening. And then you have flowers and trophies and hugs, and they really did a good job. Cumberland County did a wonderful job of making me feel special and making me feel like it was a really big deal. So I really appreciated that.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. What about you, Mel?
Well, I had a similar experience as Ashlee. It's just been a privilege to be able to represent Cumberland County Schools and the administrators here. I was up there with our 7 finalists, or I was one of the 7 finalists for Principal of the Year, and just to be in that group or be in that number was enough for me. So I too had that same feeling when they said my name. I was like, really?
You sat there. You just kind of sat there.
Because you have to take it. I had to take it in because it was a reflection of all of the work. We worked really hard at E. Smith High School and in other schools that I've worked in, and so just to have that recognition was just very special. And so I echo what Ashlee said, that Cumberland County Schools just did a phenomenal job of making sure that we were truly recognized, all of the finalists, and then of course as Principal of the Year with all of the different incentives that have been provided. So just an awesome experience.
You know what, you mentioned incentives. I usually don't ask this part until the last part, last of the interview, but tell everyone, what are some of the wonderful things that you all received as these wonderful Teacher of the Year, Principal of the Year?
So the big thing I think that most people noticed was the car, obviously. It's a 1-year lease that Reed Lawyer Chevrolet offered to me, and so I've been having fun driving that little car around, and So that was the big thing. I think that was noticeable. And I also got cash prizes from Cumberland County, cash prizes from Community and Schools, an iPad. The top 10 all got an iPad, but that was just one more extra thing that was really awesome. I got a weekend stay at the Embassy Suites. I actually just got fitted the other day for my Jostens Teacher of the Year ring, so I'm super excited to get that in, because that'll be something that is, I mean, I feel like everything else may fade away, but that ring and the trophy and the things that I can pass down to my children and everything, that really meant a lot. So I'm excited about that.
That's good. And you got some goodies too.
Absolutely. And so I won't mention, I had similar things that Ashlee talked about, but one of the biggest ones that our school was excited about was a $5,000, which went to E. Smith High School, and we've actually used that to purchase technology for our school.
Yeah,
so that was
that's
exciting.
awesome.
So that was in lieu of of a car lease, but
Yeah, and
it
you
would
got that
definitely
from
had
Lafayette.
an impact from Lafayette Ford. Yes, ma'am. So that was definitely, has been just a phenomenal opportunity for our students, and so we're very appreciative of that. And that's in addition to all of the other incentives that Ashlee mentioned.
That's good. And from here, you all will go on, both of you will go on to the regionals and see what the regionals have to offer. I know both of you going to bring home the regional title. Then we're going to get the state title.
so.
And if there's a national title, we'll get that as well. Hey, we got it wrapped up. Now, you all have been, give me a little bit of information about your backgrounds. Ashlee, you've been a teacher how long?
This is my 7th year of teaching.
7th year, so you a newbie. I mean, you're a baby, but that's a good
Yes,
thing. That's a good thing. You're bringing fresh perspective.
So, yeah, well, thank you. So it's my 7th year in, and I just actually transitioned into an instructional coach position. After I went through all the Teacher of the Year stuff, it just so happened that the position came open at my school, and so I stepped into it. And so that's been a neat experience. But my background, starting with growing up, I'm from Fayetteville. I'm a Fayetteville native. I went to Elizabeth Cashwell Elementary School, Southview Middle School, and then I went to John Griffin Middle School the first year it opened. Anytime I tell people that, they're like, wow, you really are a baby. It's kind of embarrassing.
No, take it.
But
while
it's
you
kind
can.
of cool, you know. So I went there, and then I actually went to Jack Britt the very first year it opened. So I was a part of the class that went through, the first class that went through as a full 4-year class.
Okay.
So that was really neat to have gone to Jack Britt and then now be representing the Jack Britt district at the Cumberland County level. Was an honor in itself. I went on to UNC Wilmington, is where I got my bachelor's degree in elementary ed, go Seahawks. And then I ended up a couple years ago going back to Pembroke and getting my master's in reading education. So,
Good.
yeah, so thank
That's all
you.
right. Now, you're also, Mel, a Fayetteville native.
Absolutely. Proud to be a Fayetteville native. A graduate of E. Smith High School. Graduated from there, went on to North Carolina A&T State University, where I got my degree in English education. I was able to return back to my alma mater and actually teach English there, and I was there until I got my master's degree in school administration from Fayetteville State University. And I've been in administration at E. Smith, Warrenwood Elementary School, and Cross Creek Early College, and now back at E. Smith High School. So had some varied experiences, but also a product of Cumberland County Schools as well.
Okay. Now, you know what, for both of you, there was some point in time when you realized, I want to be a teacher. I really want to be a teacher. When was that for you?
Well, you know, it's interesting for me. I grew up around educators. My parents were educators. My grandfather was a principal of a school. My aunts and uncles were educators. And so, you know, all through my life, I've always been connected with education. So when I graduated from high school, I applied for different scholarships and was awarded the North Carolina Teaching Fellow Scholarship. And so at that point, I said, well, definitely we'll give education a try. It was not necessarily my original career, but when I got into education and began my teaching career at E. Smith High School, I just loved it. I loved the relationships I was able to build with the students. I was loved to be able to see the impact I was making on their students' lives. And so that year was definitely the opportunity that I needed to stay in education, that I didn't need to change careers as I thought I might have wanted to do originally.
And when did you decide you wanted to be a principal? Because that's a whole nother ball of wax.
That is absolutely, actually, it was my 4th year into teaching, and as I said before, I had the Teaching Fellow Scholarship, so I had to make some decisions at that point if I was going to stay or transition. And so at the time, Renee Quarters was my principal, and she would put me in a lot of different leadership opportunities all along, and she said to me, I really think that you would be great as a school administrator, and she just kind of mentored me and molded me, and I think her support and encouragement helped me to make that decision to go into administration.
That's good. That's good. Now, Ashlee, what about you?
I actually had a similar experience growing up. I have educators in my family. My mom was a teacher. My dad was a teacher. He's actually retired Air Force, but he did teach for a little while after he retired. So it's in my blood. So I always knew that I would be in a field that was somewhat related to education. And then when I got to UNC Wilmington, they were building a brand new education building, and that just sealed the deal for me.
Really?
Yeah, I knew that's what I wanted to go into, but you know, when you start college, you kind of start thinking, maybe I want to do this, maybe I want to do that. But I remember going in there and meeting they did like an open house when they opened the building, and I went in and met some of the professors, and they were just so supportive and talked about, you know, the meaning behind going into education, and I just knew that I wanted to do that. And I'm going to back up a little bit. Whenever I was in second grade, I had a teacher, Miss Sparks, and she's still in Cumberland County. And she was actually the person, aside from my family, that really got that spark started inside of me that I ended up following later on.
That's good. Now, some people might, you know, be watching and they think, they must be crazy. I cannot see myself working with kids like this every day. But for you all, it's like, yeah, this is what gets me going, right?
It absolutely is. I mean, I think we all have, you know, those moments, but whenever I walk into that building and I start to interact with those students, that's what it's all about. And whenever I have days and I'm not in the building, you actually miss them. I'm like, I wonder what, you know, this student's day was like. Did this child have a good day or a bad day? So it truly is about the students and the connections, the relationships that you've built with them. And so that's what it's all about. So even when you have a difficult day, when you think about those children, you interact with them, it makes it all worthwhile.
I absolutely agree. It's those relationships that are just so important. I'm in a cool experience because we have the middle school right next door to the elementary school, so I follow up on my students. I check on them next door and talk to their teachers, and I'll see them sometimes when they're walking to the buses, and you know, I give them that look, and it's just really cool to have people, little people, and obviously they're bigger when they come to you, that look up to you so much and that you can influence them. That's just so powerful and meaningful.
That's good. That is so good. You know what? I want to talk some more with you all. You don't go away. You're going to stay right here, right?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Stick right there. Okay.
All right.
And you stick around with us as well for more Get Connected.
The next 30 seconds can save you a lot of money. Just do your laundry in cold and stick to full loads. Auto-sleep your computers. Plug your gadgets in a power strip and switch it off when you're done. Headed out? Turn back your thermostat by 10 degrees. And drive sensibly. The more energy you save, the more money you save. Find other great tips at energysaver.gov.
When you're out there, there's no telling what you'll find.
I see it! Oh, look at you.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org. Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
Thanks for joining us for this edition of Get Connected. Our guests are Cumberland County Schools 2015-2016 Teacher of the Year, Ashlee Garrison from New Century International Elementary School, and Cumberland County Schools 2016 Principal of the Year, Melody Chalmers from E.E. Smith High School. Now we're talking about their life's work and what they're doing to make a difference in the lives of children. Okay, ladies, question. Can you say there has been, I mean, because we were talking earlier and you talk about you spoke earlier about the passion you feel for what you do each day. But every day is not perfect. There's some days that are not as beautiful as, every day. What helps you get through those moments where this is a difficult day?
Well, I can say that I take time after I get off work to just kind of meditate and reflect on kind of the course of the day. So I spend some time in some self-reflection. I think about what worked well and what I might do to improve or to make a bad situation better going into the next day. So I'm all about continuous improvement and just growing as a leader and as a person. So just taking time just to reflect, to meditate, just to think about, kind of what's going on in a particular situation that might have caused me to have a difficult day, and how I'm going into the next day I can make it better. So trying to make a positive outcome out of something negative.
You keep a journal or do you keep a journal?
Not officially,
okay,
no.
Okay.
Just more of just a kind of an internal process for myself.
Okay, great. What about you, Ashlee?
I was kind of thinking the same thing. I think we have a lot in common, Melody and I. But, taking that time to reflect and re-energize and take care of yourself, that's really important. I think it's important to have somebody that you trust, that you can talk to about it. I think it's good. I mean, everybody's different, but for me, it helps me just to talk about it and kind of hear what somebody else has to say about it, maybe another teacher or my principal. I feel fortunate that we have the kind of relationship that we can do that. But just taking that time to think about how it can get better, because you're always going to have those days. You're always going to have those things that happen, and all you can do is take it and learn from it and think about ways to anticipate that in the future and solve that problem better later on. So that's very similar to Melody, just making sure that you take that time to do that.
And that's good, because I'm sure you probably have colleagues that sit and they kind of stew in that instead of moving forward. But I guess you look at it as a learning moment.
That's right.
I think absolutely. I think in education in general, you just have to be positive, because there can be negativity. Sometimes it comes towards you. But I think that you just have to maintain a positive outlook, because it's all about children's futures. And so if we're negative, then we're not going to be doing what's best for students. So I think it's just important to take anything that that might have a negative connotation or a negative spin and try to make it something positive for your students.
I completely agree, because the challenges are there. They're going to be there. So how can we make it the best that it can be within the area that we're working and the things that we have to do? So that's absolutely a good point, to stay positive all the time.
Now, you know what, when you mention the word challenges, what comes to my mind is the fact of, or just us reflecting on or talking about rather, how society perceives education. What are your thoughts on that? How they perceive teaching here in North Carolina?
I think that parents in our community, sometimes they think classrooms should be the way they were when they were in school, and it's not like that in the digital age, digital learning environments. Our classrooms have to be student-centered. We have to be integrating technology on a daily basis, and so I think sometimes our community doesn't understand the changes that are being made, and I think it's important and imperative for us as educators to make sure that we are articulating and communicating the expectations for learning now in the 21st century, and how just because it's not being done the way it was done when you were a student doesn't make it incorrect. It's just new, and we have to meet students where they are. Because when they come to us, they are ready for critical thinking, they're ready for communicating, working as a team, they're ready for technological tools being used every day. And so our teachers have to provide that for students.
Definitely. And we're preparing them. I know this is something that we hear a lot in the education world, is that we're preparing them for jobs that we don't even know will exist yet.
Right.
So that's something that we have to keep in mind with the way that we create our classrooms. And as far as how people respond to that, it is a challenge to make sure that the community understands that, hey, I know it's frustrating sometimes because you're mastering a learning curve. We all are with a lot of this technology because a lot of it is brand new, but the world is moving this fast, and so we need to make sure that we're educating our kids for that. And that's one piece of the puzzle. Another piece is I think that right now our legislative bodies as a whole, I know there are certain senators and representatives who do really value education, but I think for whatever reason right now it's just not a priority. I'd like to see that change because I think that when legislation makes it a priority, I think that our society will reflect that priority. But right now we're underfunded, we're losing positions, and we're having a hard time retaining teachers. So if we can improve that, then our schools will get better, our image will be better, we'll be doing better by our students, and so the way our community responds to us will automatically improve as well.
And that's very important, doing better by our students. Now, when you mention retention, you deal with that quite a bit.
Yeah, and you know, she said it better than I could have said it. That is definitely one of the challenges that we face in public education, or lack of funds and a teacher shortage. And so it is my priority to make sure that we have a quality teacher in every classroom. But that can be difficult sometimes because our educational systems are not producing teachers at the same rate they were producing them in previous years. And also our budgets have been cut to the point that we're losing positions, and so our class sizes are increasing. So those are definitely the challenges and the obstacles that we have to overcome in education. And so, you know, like Ashley said, we're just hoping that the legislators will listen to the concerns of educators, parents, students, and just do better about funding our schools.
That's good. Well, we're glad that you all hanging in there with us, and you're hanging in there for our kids, or our children, definitely. Now, something I want to talk to you about, or just ask you this. What one word best describes, I know you hate that, don't you? It's one word, it's a lot. What one word best describes what you do at your school? What value you add to your school?
Well, I'll say at East Smith High School that one word would be family. I am all about relationships, and I think it's just so important to build relationships with my faculty, staff, and students, and I expect my faculty, staff, and students to build relationships with each other. I truly believe that students don't care how much you know until they know that you care about them. And so that is just our priority. When you walk into East Smith High School, we want you to feel the family environment and the family culture and climate in our school. And so if I had to just summarize our school in one word, it would be family. It's what we're all about.
And you know what, I know even looking at your portfolio, Melody, there's at East Smith during Memorial Day weekend, you all have a real big, I say you all, I'm a Golden Bull too. I just haven't been able to attend that particular event, but you have a real big shindig.
Absolutely.
You know, they're out on the field during the weekend.
Absolutely. Our family, that family concept extends beyond the walls of our school. We have a National Alumni Association that is very supportive and participatory in all of our school events, to include that Alumni Weekend Memorial Day event, which brings out, I say thousands of people, but it seems like on Saturday to our high school, just to fellowship and build relationships, going back to that keyword, family and relationships. So definitely we promote that. I think that it's important for us because we have to work together. Right. We cannot work in isolation in education at all. And so I'm just so proud to say that our alumni, our community is so supportive of our students. We also have a partnership with the 100 Black Men of the Cape Fear region who are supportive, and they have a mentoring program at our school. In addition to Mr. Joel Brown, he's actually a news reporter, and he actually comes back to our school. He was actually at school today mentoring some of our young men. And so those are some of those partnerships that we have been able to incorporate with that family concept, that family atmosphere, through the partnerships with our parents, with our alumni association, who have helped us to get mentors and financial resources back into our building.
That's good. That's good. What's the one word for you, Ashley?
Well, I could definitely say family too, because I feel like that's one thing that's very important to me, is those relationships and making sure that we have unity within our walls. But just to make it my response a little different, I would say energize. That's one thing that I try to bring to the table every day, is try to help energize my teachers and my fellow teachers and my administration, because we all go through those slumps. We're all going to have those days, and some days I need somebody else to help energize me. But try to come in with a smile on my face, no matter no matter what could have happened prior to that day or anything like that, just trying to make sure that, hey guys, this is the challenge that we're facing right now, or this is something that we have to work on, but let's just do it, and let's just make it, and remember that it's for the students.
Right, that's exactly it. Now, if you could, if we were to send you all out on a recruiting trip, what would you tell prospective teachers who are looking to come into the Cumberland County Schools? What would you tell them about your school, about our system, about teaching? What would you tell them?
Well, as a student, a former student of Cumberland County, I would first tell them, I'm not just a teacher here. I've been, raised and went to school all the way through with Cumberland County Schools, and my experience in that way was awesome, and that's a huge reason why I came back. I went to college 2 hours away, but I wanted to come back and teach in Cumberland County because of just because of the support I feel and the spirit that I feel in Cumberland County. And as far as teaching goes, there's just no greater reward than impacting the life of a child. There's just not. And so that's what I would make sure that I communicate to them. And why not do it here in Fayetteville, where we have needs? I know every place does, but it's just a great place to be.
That's good.
I would say that if you want to come to a school system where growth and technological resources are available for you, I think Cumberland County is definitely the way to go. I've talked to or interviewed teaching candidates from other counties, and they're surprised at all the technology and the fact that all our schools are wireless. And it was eye-opening for me that I thought everyone had those things. And so I would definitely share all of the support, especially as it relates to technology, that is given through Cumberland County, and also that students are expected to achieve high growth. Our superintendent, and he speaks on that all of the time, how it's all about making sure all children get at least a year's worth of growth every year. And so I would want teachers to know that if you want to come somewhere where we're going to provide support to help you reach your students, that Cumberland County is a place that's going to provide you the resources and support to help meet those goals.
That's good. And you know what? They're telling me that our time is ticking down, but do you have any last words? Any last words?
Well, I think as we started, I think it's just been an honor to represent Cumberland County Schools as Principal of the Year, and I'm sure Ashlee would feel the same way as Teacher of the Year. And so I just want to thank all of those that were supportive and helped us to reach my goals and helping us to support the children of Cumberland County Schools.
Absolutely, and I just want to echo that with all my teachers in Cumberland County, all of my supervisors. I agree, they've all been great mentors to help us get to this point, so thank you.
Well, once again, congratulations, ladies. Thank you for joining us, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, and on behalf of the Cumberland County School System, we want to thank you for tuning in to this edition of our show and for giving us a chance to help you get connected. Until next time.